4.
What's up, gang? Welcome to No Holidays Allowed 2020. My name's Conception 2. You might have heard my voice a lot during this whole event. But now you get to put a face to the name. Hopefully it's not too disappointing for you.
Clearly this isn't, guys. Clearly this isn't Conception. This is Santa.
This is
This guy's a
Santa.
liar.
That's right. First of all, I'm assuming Dimmadome stayed well ahead. I can't imagine anyone.
It won by a landslide.
Yeah. So we're gonna go Dimmadome here, and I'm just gonna start the timer, and then we can do the rest of our intros right after, because it's a long cutscene. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, welcome to the world of Galar in Pokemon Sword and Shield. My name is
Doug
now
Dimmadome.
Dimmadome. So
Doug Dimmadome.
Doug Dimmadome, Dimsdale's Dimmadome, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've watched
Owner
the
of
show.
Doug Bell Dimmadome. That's it. Doug Dimmadome, the owner of Doug Bell Dimmadome.
But we are not going to be going to the Dimmadome, unfortunately, because it doesn't exist in this game. I don't know why. Must have been a programming oversight. But
What are you talking about? You telling me that's not the Doug Dimmadome that they're having the new tournament on?
apparently not. Apparently not. I
What?
mean, maybe. But even if that were the case, we'll have to talk a little bit about the category here first. So this is Pokemon Sword, to be clear. However, this is a much different category than you might expect. So this category is called the Tower of Two Fists. Specifically, it is the Get Urshifu category of the Tower of Two Fists. And this is basically starting a new fresh file and then completing the game's first DLC, which is the Isle of Armor. So we are starting at a fresh file, so it is like we are starting the game from scratch. However, as soon as we can, like basically as fast as possible, we're going to head over to the Isle of Armor as opposed to completing the gym challenge and fighting the rival and stuff like that. That cuts the run down significantly, obviously. So we don't have to go all the way to the end and beat the last the quote unquote Elite Four, which isn't really real in this game, but we get to have some fun. So this offers a lot of unique challenges because we go over to the Isle of Armor as fast as possible. That means we're not going to have a lot of key things. We're not going to be able to fly. We're not going to be able to use a bike. We're going to have relatively low level Pokemon going into the DLC island. So it's going to offer up a lot of unique and fun challenges for us. And we're going to just have a blast. I'm excited for it. Couple of keynotes as well. So there is a main route in this version and kind of a side route, which is ever so slightly slower, but definitely safer. And I'm actually taking that route. So the fastest route that you could take in terms of going for PB or world record attempts is we're going to use Sobble throughout the entirety of the run until we get Kubfu, and then we'll level up Kubfu so that we can take on the dojo, the last tower rather. Instead, we're going to do a slight little twist on that, where we'll still start with Sobble, go through the first half an hour, 35 minutes or so with Sobble. Then we're going to catch a Vulpix, evolve it to Ninetales, and then we will use Ninetales for the middle section of the game until we get Kubfu, and then we'll take on the tower at the end. So we get to utilize the Ninetales, which is always very fun. And Ninetales has a wonderful moveset for the run as well, which is great. First, I'm going to focus on this for just 1 second.
Well, while you focus on that, you mind if I get into a donation?
Go ahead.
All right, so we got we got $20 from question mark. I wonder who that could be. A wild young Thunfisk has appeared. Oh no. It used good luck. It's super effective. Put this towards bid war for Bulbasaur, because I'm sure it's gonna be super useful. And with that puts Bulbasaur actually ahead by about $6 or $16.
And may I just, first of all, Young, thank you so much for your donations. Young is such a wonderful person in my community who is always bringing a lot and contributing to all these wonderful marathon runs. So I can't thank him enough for that. But in addition to that, I think that puts us over the $600 mark for incentives for this run alone, which is absolutely insane to me. So thank you so much for all of those wonderful donations. We had $330 for Dimmadome. Now we got this intense bid war going on for Squirtle v Bulbasaur, which I should mention, by the way, is going to stay open until roughly an hour into the run, because we don't get Bulbasaur or Squirtle for quite some time. It's a good chunk into the DLC that we'll have to make that choice. So if you're upset that Bulbasaur is now taking the lead and you want to have Squirtle manage it and take over, we still have plenty of time.
Indeed, and also this is all going to a fantastic cause. This is all going to go rescue a nonprofit no-kill dog shelter in Norfolk, Virginia. Like last No Glitch Allowed we had the founder herself come in, talk about the charity, even talk about how even just a few dollars, even from her, like words of the founder herself, literally said even a few dollars goes a long way. So this isn't just about the incentives. Obviously, a lot of people have a lot of fun interacting and going bidding back and forth. But remember that at the end of the day, this is about raising money for the charity. And if that rivalry raises amazing money for the charity, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
So make sure use exclamation point donate. So check out all the amazing incentives we have with exclamation point incentives. Because right now, not only do we have the Bulbasaur, but we also have so we did actually get $20 for naming the horse for naming it Nobu, but we also still have Sora, Kage, and Kaze. Again, I hope I'm saying those correctly. If you would like to see any of those other 3 names, make sure you get those donations also in. And also $20 for sparing Lord Shimura. So if you would like to see him be slain, on the ground he stands, make sure you get those donations also in. So, but again, also if you want to see Squirtle beating Bulbasaur, you need about $16.01 for Squirtle to be in the lead. Obviously we like those even numbers, so maybe just if you get an extra dollar, maybe just send it in there. But hey, if you want to be that cheeky person, just get that $16.01. That's all you need for Squirtle to be back in the lead.
And Slow, remind me, so we are awfully close to crossing that 9,000 over all of our events mark, right? But what how much are we looking at? How much do we need?
So right now we are at $3,126.08. So we need a total of $3,279.31 for us to raise a total of over $9,000 over the course of all of our marathons. So so let me just do the math here real quick, because I'm not good at math in my head.
We were told there'd be no math.
That has come and gone. So we need in total we still need $153.23 to meet this goal. And if we meet this goal, we have raised over $9,000 for Go Rescue across all of our marathons. So let's see if we can make that goal. We still got 2 more days. Today's just started, so let's see if we can go ahead and let's see if we can make that goal today. Because if we can make that goal today, then we could probably raise it up to 3,500 for tomorrow.
Here's what I'll say as well. First of all, I always with my runs, I always like to throw a little challenge on myself, right? So for this run, any wild Pokemon I hit that is not intentional or programmed, I will donate $5 towards. So that's per Pokemon. So hopefully we hit some wilds. If anyone wants to match me on that, I would be more than happy to have you. In addition to that, with Pokemon runs that I always do marathons, I always like to shout out, if you want to shout out a special Pokemon in your life, maybe using their dex number as a donation amount, go ahead and throw that in the donations as well. We'll give them special shout outs. Maybe you like Pikachu and you want to donate $25 because it's his Pokedex number, things like that. But here that was perfect amount of plugs because there's a lot of cutscene action at the beginning of this run. So we skipped through a good amount of that, talking about the noble cause of saving the puppers. Now let me talk a little bit about what's going on speed tech wise. So we will choose Sobble. Sobble's always the fastest. Because I'm using this Ninetales route instead of having Sobble go straight through to Kubfu, my stats don't matter whatsoever. If if I were to try to use Sobble, I'd have to have a certain special attack to be able to succeed in the run, which is one of the main reasons why I usually choose to use the Ninetales route, because it's a lot, you know, less reset heavy. If I had a bad Sobble, I'd have to save right before I got my Sobble, reset, and then reload, and then go through all that cutscene again. So, you know, that would have taken quite a bit of time, which we don't need to do. So now it doesn't matter what our Sobble stats are, we can take anything. We get through this first fight with Hop with relative ease, which I'm always thankful for. We leave the fight at level 7. And now for all of our Sobble usage is just going to be Water Gun to win until we use Ninetales, basically. Now, right after this, we're going to head into the Slumbering Weld, which is another, like, extended sequence. It's mainly a cutscene that you get to move in, more or less. We walk through grasses, but there's 3 programmed encounters in there. So I am going to hit 3 wild encounters in a second, but they are programmed. I can't avoid them. They do not count towards the donation goal, but don't worry, I'm bound to hit a few anyway. Which we'll get into a little bit when we get closer to actual wild grass that's not programmed. During this, yeah, we'll walk through several patches of grass, and then we'll meet the legendary of the game, which will have no effect on our run whatsoever, but we have to do this in order to progress the story. So,
But yeah, I just wanted to chime in and say, yeah, it's you obviously have the classic thing of the water type Pokemon being the fastest.
Yep.
You see that pretty commonly through a lot of the Gen speed runs, at least from, like, I think of probably what Gen 1 through 4 at least. Like, the water type is generally the fastest.
Definitely I know 1 through 3 for a fact. I don't be sure 4. I mean, it's most likely based off of the 3 types that you get: water, fire, and grass, which is obviously default types for all starters. Water tends to be the most versatile in terms of, you know, gym leaders and things like that. You know, fire is really strong, but only against a few different types, and grass is generally not strong against a lot, unfortunately. Even though despite it being a really cool typing, it doesn't have a lot of strengths, unfortunately. So water, it just tends to be the most diverse. So that tends to be the reason.
Don't worry. In Gen 9, I believe we're gonna have the grass type's gonna be the fastest. I believe.
Yeah, we just have to will it into existence, really. So let's hope. But yeah, so we have three scripted encounters here, like I said. So it's a Squovit, a Rookidee, and another Squovit. I could have saved like a second if the Squovit didn't. I mean, I'm sorry, if the Rookidee did not have the ability Unnerve. So you might have seen it during the Rookidee encounter there. Unnerve is an ability that a Rookidee can have where it makes it so you can't use berries. But most importantly, it will tell you before you're able to act that the Rookidee has Unnerve. So if it didn't have Unnerve, we would have saved all that text. So that would be that's the only thing that can change the amount of time here. But here's the legendary, and we're going to be in an encounter with it, but not really, because I can't do anything. So it's just kind of sitting here.
It's just a interactive cutscene.
Interactive
as
cutscene,
I like to call it.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I can't even run from it. The only thing I can do is attempt to use Pound on it, and it'll just not work. Throw some fog in there, and I have to do that 2 more times in order for the encounter to end. So we just have to get through it.
Unfortunately, I wish that hitting run would just waste your turn, because that would probably make that fight way faster. So
yeah, a lot less text, because it would be Sobble, you know, as opposed to saying Sobble use Pound, it didn't work. You know, it might just say like, you can't run. All right, move on.
Yep, moving on. Like,
yeah.
Which I feel like in a lot of situations would feel more like a way of the game trying to punish you. But the problem with Sword and Shield in general is the fact that, unfortunately, these games, these 2 matching games here, for the Pokemon, very much hold your hand, which I think is great. I think is great for people that are new to the Pokemon series. If you never played Pokemon the game, this is fantastic. But for people that have played Pokemon games or have, you know, been longtime fans like Conception, it can be very annoying.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I know how to play a Pokemon game. It's not like they changed since, you know, the last other 7 gens.
Yeah. Yep, that's pretty much right. Mainly the thing that is frustrating in this game. So I run 2 I've played pretty much every generation of Pokemon, but in terms of speedrunning, I run 2. which are Gen 1 and Gen 8. So I bug end here. But what makes it really frustrating is that there's a setting, and I changed my settings as soon as I was able to with my character at the beginning of the run. There's a setting that you are able to turn on and off called skip movies. So you would think like, oh, cool, that means we'd skip all these cutscenes and things, right? But no, not at all. All these cutscenes still play. The only thing it skips is like cinematic type movies. So things that you don't have control over, text that you can't mash through and things like that. So it doesn't end up saving a lot, especially in this run. It saves almost nothing, but it's still worth turning on because, it saves some time, and it only takes a second to flip that option off. So, but I wish that we could just do more of skipping these cutscenes. Now, there is an important thing that we're going to do here. Finally, we're entering our first wild area. Now, I'm going to hit this Wooloo on purpose, but it still counts. I said any wild encounter, so here we are. Now, I'm going to hope this Wooloo is level 5 or 6. If not, it's fine. We have to catch a Pokemon anyway, but 5 or 6 would be wonderful. It's level 3, of course, but that's fine. The reason why I would have liked it to be 5 or 6 is because if it was 5 or 6, I'd actually level up early, which would save us just a little bit of time in these next couple of trainer fights. It would make it so that we could have the potential to go a little bit fast. Unfortunately, it's level 3, so I did not level up here. But that is perfectly fine. We have to catch a Pokemon here anyway. So in addition to getting the experience that we would have needed regardless, because we need to be able to level up a little bit quickly in terms of being prepared for our next fight against Hop. We also want to catch a Pokemon here because catching a Pokemon here will skip the catching tutorial that Leon attempts to give us on Route 2. So we don't want to have to sit through all that. Obviously wastes a lot of time. Leon will be able to see that we've caught a Pokemon, so he says, oh, you know how to catch a Pokemon. We don't need to talk about this. But here we are. So now we're at one of the labs. This is Sonia here, who's the professor of the region's assistant, and this is Yamper. If you don't want to make Yamper sad, you need to donate towards Go Rescue, ! Donate in the chat. Or else you're letting my friend Yamper down here, and if you're letting Yamper down, you're letting me down. So don't let Yamper down.
I had a oh my god, what's that other electric type dog Pokemon in the game?
In this generation?
Yeah, it's like it started. I think it started. It wasn't Jolteon. I'm not thinking of the EV evolution.
There's Raikou, legendary, and Gen 2.
No, it wasn't Raikou.
Okay. I'm trying to think of any other electric dog.
It was a common type
Electrike?
one you could find. Electrike, thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
I had Electrike in my main party. He pretty much was my entire main party for the entire game. So you're also going to be letting my Electrike down if you don't donate.
And that's just sad. That's just sad.
It really is.
So yeah, we have to do this so we get our Pokédex and stuff like that. And this person jumps out as soon as we exit. Now we get to regain control, and we're going to head over to the right-hand side here, where there is a ball and this little spiral of path, which has a rare candy, which we are going to save for a long time and might not use at all, but we will likely use it just for safety. And that is going to not be used until we have Kubfu, which we'll get into a little bit later on. Now Hop's going to attempt to tell us about Pokemon centers here a little bit, but we're going to go inside. He's going to say, have you been to a Pokemon center before? And then we're going to, just bypass all of his extensive tour because we know what we're doing. Level with me, Demodome, it says Hop. All right, so we are going to use the PC here very briefly. And that is just so we can deposit our Wooloo. The reason why we want to do that, of course, is so all of the experience we get goes to Sobble instead. We're going to pit stop at our friend, the berry salesperson, buy 3 Pekka berries and move on. Pekka berries will heal you of poison. So that is why this will be important. Which leads me into a discussion about the difference between Sword and Shield when it comes to the Isle of Armor. So the run itself is, in terms of the route, is the same. And especially before and leading up to the Isle of Armor, it's exactly the same. We'll fight all the same trainers and all that. The main distinction is that depending on which version of the game you will have a different antagonist when it comes to getting to the Isle of Armor. So I'm running the Sword version, so my antagonist will be Clara, who specializes with poison types. If I were running Shield, it would be Avery, who specializes in psychic types. They're very similar, I would say, in terms of speed. In fact, the world record actually runs on the shield version, but I think as long as you would get good RNG, it wouldn't really fully matter what version that you use. So, you know, don't let that discourage you from, if you're interested in learning the game. You know, you don't think you have to have one version or the other. You can be very competitive, regardless of the version you have. Route 2 here, by the way, we are going to have 2 trainer fights that we can't avoid, and then there is a 3rd trainer here, but we can't avoid that one, luckily. This is the fight. This fight specifically would potentially be a little bit faster had we been level 8, because we could have potentially 2-shotted the Squovit, depending on the level of our special attack. But because we are level 7 instead of 8, 3-shot is pretty much the best that we can ask for, which we got. We could have even had as low as a 4-shot if our special attack was really bad. Luckily, we weren't at that level, so that's good. The upside is that because we weren't level 8, we hadn't learned Bind yet, so that means we could have flipped. We flipped the move to Water Gun with relative ease, which was nice because you can just press up once. Now I have to cycle to Water Gun. Saves us wastes a little bit of time. Okay. That's a trainer we can avoid by just walking behind her in the grass. And here's the one we can't. This trainer is relatively annoying. Has a Blip Bug and a Nicket. The reason why they're relatively annoying is twofold. One, Blip Bug always uses Struggle Bug, and if Struggle Bug lands, it lowers our special attack. And of course, it's a 100% accurate move, so the only hope that we have would be to crit it, which we did. Excellent. All right, so this next part is going to go a little bit faster then. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Only saves a little bit of time, but it's always exciting when it happens. So now our special attack has not been decreased, which means that we can do more damage to Nicket as well, which is great. Not to mention that Blip Bug usually takes 2 hits to defeat. Obviously, it only took 1, so we saved a turn there. All right, don't quick attack this last turn. Yeah, wow, we got this basically the fastest that this fight could have gone. So let's go. Excellent. All right, and then we're going to have another kind of cutscene here where we meet the professor of the region, Magnolia. They talk quite a while, and then we are going to fight Hop for the 2nd time and the last time in the run, which is really great. If you're running the any % run, you fight Hop. I think it's like 8 times, and Hop loves to talk while you fight. He always has these little interjections that he pops in, like, oh, you know, you learned about move advantages, and oh, you critical hit me, and those things just take so much time. So luckily we don't have to fight Hop too often in this run. For Hop 2, there's actually like nothing really that we can do to make this fight dangerous for us. We're relatively strong. Hop's Pokemon are not particularly strong, and all we have to do is Water Gun to win. But there is a little bit of RNG in it. If we get a critical hit, he's going to have a dialogue sequence where he talks about like, oh, you critical hit, that blow really hurt, or something like that. So it wastes time. Unless, of course, that critical hit saves us a turn, then it balances out more or less. The other thing is when he gets to his Score Bunny, if he chooses to have Score Bunny use Ember over Tackle, then he's gonna have another dialogue sequence where I forget the words, but it's like the fire burns bright, blah blah blah, you know, something perfectly anime, which wastes time, obviously. So hopefully we don't have to see that as well. But in terms of mechanics, it's Water Gun to win, and there's nothing really we can do to lose. And you might be wondering if my health was affected, but we do get a free heal during that cutscene as well. Wow, we got a crit. Amazing. So this crit balances out more or less because the Wooloo would have taken 2 shots, but we 1-shot it instead. So even though we got that crit dialogue, it didn't really lose us that much time. All right, don't use Ember. Don't use Ember. The tight matchups, one always happens regardless. And of course, he used Ember. Have a taste of our true power. Our flames are burning bright, which he would not say if he used Tackle. But here we are. It was going too good. We had to have a little takedown there. Last Pokemon that Hop has here is going to be Rookidee, which is of no consequence to us. We just have to get through it. But you can see what I mean. Hop loves to interject wherever he can. I thought we got another crit for a second. All right, and that is Hop 2 and Hop the last. Very good, very good. So we're actually on pretty good time here. Anytime, so like I have my splits up on the side here as well. So I split at the 24.5-minute mark here, which is pretty good, pretty good. Most marathons I'll go over the 25-minute mark here usually. So we're in good shape. So I'm happy about that. We got another long extended cutscene here. Where we get our Dynamax band and stuff like that. If you're unfamiliar, Dynamax is kind of the gimmicky move of this generation. We will Dynamax once, and only once in the run. And that will be for a very important battle that we'll do probably like an hour and 10 minutes in-ish to the run. So roughly, give or take. But that's the only time we do it. Dynamaxing is very, very slow because we have to go through the animations every time. Of you know, Dynamaxing your Pokemon, it growing in size, it roaring over the crowd, blah, blah, blah. It takes a long time. Not to mention, we only have one fight in the run that we can use Dynamaxing for, actually. And that's the one fight that we use it, obviously. So, we don't, it's not like we have a lot of opportunities to do it regularly. Or that we have to do it regularly. After this, we will head to the train station where we will go to the wild area. Which is where the paths will diverge between the Sobble route and the Ninetales route. And so I mentioned before at the beginning-ish of the run when we were first going through and picking Sobble and fighting Hop for the first time, that if we were going to use Sobble up until Cubfu, it would matter what our Sobble stats are, which is a reason why I usually won't run that in a marathon because, you know, who wants to sit here and reset, you know, 3 times to get a good Sobble? But another reason why I usually choose not to is because of this wild area coming up. So when we get to the wild area, you'll see that there's an Onyx, and we both times we, you know, but with both routes, that Onyx is important. If we were using just Sobble, we actually have to kill that Onyx, which is a little bit hard because it's significantly over leveled. But because we're going to use Ninetales, we're going to fight that Onyx, and we're going to die on purpose. Actually, we're going to be doing a Death Warp. So that is a lot easier to do. You know, dying is a lot easier than winning, as it turns out. So that's what makes it interesting. You know, you could try to defeat the Onyx and die several times and have to reset again. Who wants to see that in a marathon setting? We're trying to go fast, so we don't need that.
Smiley face.
Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. But alas, we're not doing it. I'm not your masochist this time. All right, so here we are. We're heading over there. Once we get to the wild area and get through all of the cutscene stuff, there isn't a ton of like this, like Slow was talking about before, hand-holdiness. It opens up there, and then we kind of just all the cutscenes that we deal with from that point forward are more story-based as they are about holding our hands. So luckily, we get to bypass a lot of the like, you know, tutorial type cutscenes. Which is good. So into the train station we go. We get the TM for Swift, which we don't use at all, but we can't avoid getting it, unfortunately. We say goodbye to our mums. It's always important to say goodbye to your mums before you start on your Pokemon journey. Don't forget that.
Isn't it like every Pokemon game you never actually say goodbye to your mom?
Yeah, not really. Yeah, I mean, you can choose to like go and talk to your mom, but it's not like there's like a goodbye option. But this time it's programmed into the story, so
Darn it.
Unavoidable.
No.
Shout out to this guy, by the way, who works at the train station and loves his job so much that his sideburns are train tracks. Can't imagine loving my job that much that I shave it into my face.
I definitely could. I could see it.
You could see it? Wow.
Yeah, I could see it.
The devotion is unreal. All right, and here is the wild area. We have one more little hand-holdy cutscene, but it's an important one because we get access to the Pokemon box. Earlier, I deposited Wooloo using the PC in the Pokemon Center, and we are going to be doing a lot of work with the Pokemon box throughout the run. Luckily now, we don't have to go to a Pokemon Center to do it. A good feature of this game is that you can deposit and withdraw Pokemon anywhere you want, which is great. I love that addition. It saves us time, so... Sonia is going to give that to us here. Then we will begin our wild area journey. So I mentioned up at the top that we don't have flying, we don't have a bike, so everything is on foot. So a lot of times in this run, we are going to utilize death warping when we can. And it's going to start right away with this Onix. The reason why we're gonna, and it might be a little bit confusing, because the reason why we're gonna death warp off the Onix, despite it being right next to where we start, is because whenever we die in the wild area, we get brought back to an NPC. The NPC will then ask if we want to just travel to Motostoke, assuming that we've had trouble getting through the wild area, which we will say yes. And that is because it is a lot faster to say yes than it is to walk there, because the wild area is huge. Now, when it comes to this Onix has 2 moves that damage and 2 moves that don't. If it had used Rock Slide, it would have one-shot me, which I would have preferred. However, we got double Dragon's Breath, and that's the second fastest thing, so we'll take that. We will take that. It also can use Curse and Screech, which are very slow, so that's good. And, of course, how it works with Pokemon runs, if you're trying to die, it won't kill you, but if you're trying to win, it'll kill you first shot, so... You know, Pokemon RNG, as it were. So now you can see we're warped to the all the way other side of the wild area, which saves us a lot of walking time. But we are going to walk right over to this bridge here, cross it, and then go over to the other side to pick up a very important item, the Firestone. As I mentioned, we are going to be using Ninetales, but we have to catch a Vulpix and evolve it with said Firestone. So we have to get the Firestone.
Yeah, I think that's actually the most interesting thing about both games, is that both games actually get the Firestone. But they evolve for two different Pokemon. Like Sword, it's Ninetales. Shield, it's Arcanine.
Arcanine, yep. Yeah, the Shield any % route uses a combination of, or at least it had. With the DLC, things are a little bit strange now, as it turns out. But I think, you know, on the regular any % run, it still utilizes a combination of Arcanine and Excadrill. So, now we got our, wow, we're faster than this Rhyhorn. Now we got our Firestone. We're going to Death Warp again. Luckily, so you usually Death Warp off of Rhyhorn or Skorupi here. Usually because they're so much a higher level than us, I'm not used to being faster than them, but we had a particularly slow Rhyhorn, I guess. We Death Warp all the way back to the beginning here again, and this time we're not going to go back to Motostoke. We're going to walk into this grass straight ahead of us. And we're going to see an abundance of Vulpix. And this is where we're going to catch our Vulpix. Here we are. Here's some. Let's start with this one. So, we can catch a Vulpix that's level 8, 9, or 10. If it's level 7, we can't take it, unfortunately. So, let's see what we get. Of course, it's level 7 first try. Can't do that. The reason why, you know, I like to do Vulpix over Sobble is this very reason. So, you know, we catch a Vulpix, and its stats are going to matter too. So we need to make sure our Vulpix has good enough stats. Wow, 2 level 7s, wonderful luck. But if we catch a Vulpix and its stats are bad, no worries. We'll just catch another one. Ooh, let's see. Oh, Tyrogue. Okay, so what are we up to, by the way? So that's 4 encounters, right? So that's 20. There was a Tyrogue right on top of this Vulpix here, so of course we ran right into it. Here we go. Come on, no level 7. Come on. Come on. Unbelievable. Okay, 3 level 7s. We cannot... It's too low of a level. We can't run with a level 7. But I've never had 3 in a row. That's never happened. Come on, Vulpix. Again, it matters on its stats, too. So even if it's not level 7... it could have bad enough stats that I can't run with it anyway, so there is still more to it. But we can just ever so slight amount. Give it a catch. Apparently loves to break out. Excellent. Usually goes in first try. There we go. Now we got our Vulpix. But again, it is important that it has the right stats. Particularly, it needs good special attack and good speed. Everything else doesn't really matter. Alright. Go. Alright, special attack is great. Speed is low. Yep. Gotta catch another one. Special attack was really good though, so it's tempting to take that, but we don't really want to have bad speed like that if we can avoid it. Level 9, too. Here we go. Speed is relatively important. So mainly, for lack of a better term, the IVs of a Pokemon can be minus, neutral, or plus based on what we're looking at. We want to have plus special attack if we can, but we can run with neutral. And same thing with speed. We don't want to have plus speed if we can, but we can't run with neutral. So that first Vulpix had plus special attack, but minus speed. And minus speed, I could have taken it, but it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit hard. You don't want to. I don't want to make it too hard on myself here. All right, level 9. So special attack, fine. Speed is fine. Okay, we can take this one. All right. All right. And now we'll evolve it. So we got 5 Vulpixes, a Tyrogue, and a Wooloo, if I'm counting correctly. But 7? 7 encounters so far. Alright, now we're going to walk over here, and there's going to be a Ninjask that pops up over here as part of the overworld. We're going to defeat it for some extra XP, and we're going to move on. So this Ninjask is a higher level than us, obviously. It does have the potential to kill us, which is a little bit scary. But it looks like we should be fine because our special attack is good enough that we can two-shot it. So even if it uses Scratch again, we will be fine. And we're fine. Voila. So that just gives us a nice little boost here. And it does a couple things. So obviously it's going to buff up Ninetales a little bit. But arguably more importantly is it actually levels up our Sobble. And you might be wondering, well, we don't need Sobble, so what does that matter? We need Sobble for one more thing, but it's not really fighting. So as a part of the DLC, what you have to do is that a Slowpoke will get in our way, come off the track, and we have to catch it in order to move on. We can't just defeat it, we have to catch it. So what we do for that is that we will weaken it with Ninetales and swap to Sobble. The reason being is that this game, along with a lot of the newer generations of Pokemon, have a factor in place that if you are lower level than the Pokemon you're attempting to catch, it becomes significantly harder to catch it. The Slowpoke is at level 12. My Ninetales is at level 11, so that would make it a lot harder to catch, which we don't want to deal with. However, because of that experience, my Sobble is level 12. So now that it is the same level, that it becomes a lot more simple to catch. But before we even get there, we're going to do one very cool thing, another feature that's added to, I think it's this generation specifically. I don't remember if it's in the last one or not, but we're going to head to the Pokemon Center back in Wedgehurst here, and we're going to talk to this person who is going to help us remember our moves, a move rememberer in every Pokemon Center. And basically what this allows us to do, from a speedrun perspective, it's amazing. It allows us to give our moveset to our Pokemon that we want from any level, regardless of when you can learn these moves. So definitely overpowered from a casual perspective, but from a speedrun perspective, it's wonderful. So we're going to learn some very specific moves here, which I'll go over a little bit in detail once I'm not menuing. All right, pretty clean. My scrolls were pretty good there. So the 4 moves that we have now taught our Ninetales are Nasty Plot, Flamethrower, Safeguard, and Fire Blast. Flamethrower and Fire Blast are pretty obvious. They're just nice blasty fire moves, which are very strong. Nasty Plot is a dark type move that will boost our special attack significantly, which is very important. Obviously, fire is a special attack move as opposed to a physical attack move. So boosting our special attack and having a move that does so boosts it significantly is wonderful. So we're going to do that. The other move that we learn is Safeguard, which makes it so that we will not take status effects for 5 turns after it's being used, which will be very important for a couple of key fights coming up. But for now, we are here at the Slowpoke. We're going to Flamethrower it once, and then we are going to swap to Sobble to catch it. We got the burn. It's a little bit slower, unfortunately. And we got crit on, so that's even more slow. Basically as slow as this fight can go. Alright, so swap to Sobble. Like I said, same level or above removes that restriction, which is great. Now we can catch it with relative ease. The Sobble route, because we don't have another Pokemon to swap between here, we actually will grab a little bit of Watts from one of the wells in the wild area, and then we will buy a Quick Ball and then just throw it right away. So a little bit difference in route there. Alright, so we got our Slowpoke. Our health is a little bit low for my liking on the Ninetales, so I think we have to do a menu coming up anyway, so I think in that menu I'm going to potion just for safety. We don't need any unplanned deaths. This is Clara, by the way, who is that antagonist that I had mentioned to you at the beginning. She's going to be our antagonist for the majority of the run, now that we're getting over to the Isle of Armor. It's interesting as well. So the Crown Tundra came out not too long ago, which is the second DLC to this game. And whenever a DLC comes out, it always makes you wonder if it's going to alter your run as it is. For this run, the only thing it changes is that it adds 2 text boxes right there, where it's in. Before it would say, you have an armor pass. Do you want to go to the Isle of Armor? Now it says, you have an armor pass. You also have a Crown Tundra pass. Which one do you want to go to? So that's the only change in this run. In terms of the any percent run, it's a massive change to the point that we had to make a second category. Because if you went to Crown Tundra first, you can get a level 65 Suicune that you can just blast through the rest of the game with right near the beginning. So it has certainly changed things for sure. But for our purposes, nothing changed. So as soon as we head out of this building, we're going to fight Clara for the first time. We're going to fight Clara 3 times in this run. However, we're going to do some things before we even head out there. We're actually going to do a menu, and then we're going to do a little bit of shopping with the train shop here. Get some items. So that's what we're going to do. First, we're going to menu. We're going to heal up, like I mentioned, just for safety. And then since we're already in here, I'm going to equip this now, which I would have equipped later, but oops. There we go. Oop, and I'm gonna buy some potions. Yep, I meant to buy awakenings as well. There we go. Excellent. All right. So now we're in good shape. So what we did there is we deposited our Sobble and our Slowpoke that we had just caught. Now we're just rolling with Ninetales. Also healed Ninetales up a little bit because I think it would have been fine, but I didn't want to risk it. And then we equipped a Cherry Berry. So Cherry Berry, what that does is if you are paralyzed in battle and you have that equipped, it will heal your paralysis automatically. We do not have the worry of being paralyzed right here. That's not my concern. It's actually the next fight that we do, which is very shortly after Clara. But because I already had to go into my bag anyway, I decided to equip it now as opposed to later, just to save us a menu. This Clara fight is relatively easy, especially since we healed. All we're going to do is Nasty Plot once, which will significantly raise our special attack. And then Flamethrower to win. This Venipede is also bug type, so it's, this is going to go down in one shot. Very easy. The next Pokemon she has is the Slowpoke. Worth mentioning, Specifically, it's a Galarian Slowpoke, so it's a regional variant of this region, which changes its typing a little bit. Usually Slowpoke is Water Psychic, but because it is the Galarian version, it is Psychic Poison. So we don't have the concerns about water typing as much with Slowpokes in the game. So this can happen if we're a little bit under leveled. So we can be level 12 here very easily. Because we were ever so slightly under leveled because of the Pokemon, the level that we caught Ninetales at. That Slowpoke took an extra hit, unfortunately. It also didn't help that we didn't get a particularly great roll on damage. And then, of course, we also got the burn, which is just extra slow. So making up for all those crits we had near the beginning of the run. But that's Clara 1. Again, there's nothing really worth mentioning there. And then we're going to head to the dojo, which is going to be our home base for the Isle of Armor here. And then we are going to meet the dojo master, family, all the students, and all of that. Yada, yada, yada. First, of course, we got to get there, which we take the fastest route. So it's worth mentioning as well, if you played Pokemon games in older generations, Pokemon come at random in the grass, right? You know, you just walk through grass, you might hit a Pokemon, you never know. Obviously, with this newer generation, and then as well as Let's Go previously, which we actually saw at the beginning of the marathon, we can see Pokemon pop up in the overworld, which is very handy from a speedrun perspective, because we don't have to use things like repels when we can see the Pokemon coming. So that's what makes this very unique. We have to, unfortunately, go through that conversation there. Shoutouts to anyone who collected all 150 Diglett in this DLC, because I just don't have the time. Then we got another little cutscene here before we head into the dojo. Nothing of real significance here if we have any donations or plugs.
No, not any donations right now, but you guys could very easily change that by using !donate like I'm about to use in the chat here, and you guys can go ahead and donate. Again, we're just right now, if you want to see Squirtlehead, he's Bulbasaur right now is only $16 ahead right now, so get those donations in. So you still got plenty of, I'd say pretty much plenty of time, right?
Yeah, I would say we have another probably 10 minutes before we have to worry about it.
Okay, so you guys so you heard it here first. You have about 10 minutes. So get your donations in if you want to see Squirtle win over Bulbasaur, so again, $16, and you can easily beat have Squirtle start being in the lottery, or $16.01, I should say, and then otherwise it'll just be tied.
Which is just chaos.
Yeah.
This is Squirtle. You don't want to make Squirtle sad, donate towards Squirtle. Look at him. He's happy now, but if we get there and we don't pick him, he's going to be sad. So
definitely will be pretty sad.
Yeah, he'll be here. Know that if you don't donate towards picking him, he's going to cry. And if you want to make a sad little turtle baby cry, then I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know how to react to that. Here we are in the dojo. This is Mustard, by the way, who runs the dojo. Shout out to his eyebrows, which go past his chin. And we are going to save here just for safety. This fight mainly goes to script, and we did get a free heal as well. So it mainly goes to script, but every so often, it could go a little wonky. So the first Pokemon that he has is Mienfoo. And Mienfoo has a couple of key moves here. What is scripted usually? Now, and I say scripted loosely because it happens almost every time, but it's not really scripted because it could go RNG. Is that Mienfoo will use Fake Out, just like Mienfoo did. We'll flinch. Yep, that's normal. And we'll have to use Nasty Plot again. And the Mienfoo will use Force Palm here. Yep. It could paralyze us, which is why we have the Cherry Berry equipped. And then we use Fire Blast, which is not a 100% accurate move, as you see, and we're going to have to reset again. Not again, that's the first time. That is what I'm talking about, that it could go a little bit off book here. We have to use Fire Blast because a Flamethrower will not defeat Minfu. Fire Blast only has the power to do so. And it is just faster to reset as opposed to dying and then walking back up to Mustard. Marathon luck, of course.
The infamous Mustard, the bane of every speedrun.
Yeah, exactly. Mustard always takes us out. But yeah, that's so it can actually go a little bit wonky with the Minfu as well. It doesn't. So it usually will use Fake Out followed by Force Palm. Like I would say, like 95% of the time, that's what will happen. But there are other times that it could use a U-turn or it'll use Force Palm first or something like that, and it just throws us off a little bit. So that's the reason why we save there, just in case. Oh, and that's why we get the Cherry Berry. There we go. That's what's supposed to happen. Yeah, Fire Blast is an 85% accurate move here in this gen. So only 15% to miss, but we got that 15%. So here we are. And then Shinx is the second Pokemon, which is of no consequence to us. We can just Flamethrower to win here. Here we are. That's Mustard 1. Mustard is a foe we will also face again in the future. But not for a long time into the run. Actually, it's going to be the final boss of our run.
Also, I see some good-looking emotes in the chat here.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, what do we got? What do we got?
We got Concept Yikes and Concept Nervous.
Oh, yeah? Yep, some great emotes. Everyone coming through. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, everybody. If you like those emotes, feel free to sub, by the way, to my channel or Speedruns Live, which you should also support. But, so, the main plot of the Isle of Armor is that we need to complete 3 challenges in order to get what is called the secret armor of the dojo as the prize. So we're going to be doing the first of those 3 challenges coming up here soon. Clara, who again is our main antagonist of this Isle of Armor, is sad that she didn't get a dojo uniform like we just did, and wants that dojo uniform. However, it just got stolen by these slowpokes, which, if you could tell, are not slowpokes as much as they are fast pokes. These slowpokes are quickens. They are quick. So that's gonna be our first challenge. We gotta catch 3 slowpokes, or fast pokes.
Clearly these slowpokes can't actually be slowpokes because they're actually too fast. So you can't call them slowpokes. Clearly they're dittos, just pretending to be, very fast slowpokes.
Exactly. Obviously. So we're gonna say no here because changing our clothes would be slow. And I will go ahead and we'll go ahead and grab a potion here. My health was fine. There is a small chance that I wouldn't have had to heal at all, but it's very unlikely. So what we have to do for these slowpokes is we have to catch up to them in terms of like running up to them, but we also have to defeat them in order to move on. So this challenge is the only reason really that we get awakenings in the run at all. So we can have a few things go awry here. Hopefully, we don't want to see that when we fight these slowpokes that they use Yawn turn 1. Yawn is a move that'll put you to sleep after slowpoke's second turn. So we don't want to do that because it's going to take at least 2 turns for us to beat slowpokes anyway. So hopefully we don't see Yawn turn 1. It could also just use... We have to fight 3 of these slowpokes. They can use Confusion a lot. They can use... they also have Acid to do some poison damage to us. So... there's a lot that can go awry here in terms of our health. So it's almost assuredly I would have had to heal at some point anyway. Might as well be now. Here's our first slowpoke. So with every slowpoke, it's the same process. We're going to Nasty Plot first, and then Flamethrower twice. This slowpoke is being very good to us, which is nice. Acid. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I remember someone in the chat noted, that you know, water type, the water types also have the ability to use surf and stuff like that, so that's another reason why they're also used quite a bit.
Yes, yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, though, to be fair though, fire types usually have some pretty powerful moves too, like Fire Blast, for example.
Yeah, yeah, that's the gamble though with moves like Fire Blast, is that those moves aren't 100% accurate like Surface. So, you know, Fire Blast is very powerful move, but then you run the gamble, you know, you're probably gonna miss quite a few times in a row. Not to mention that Fire Blast has 5 PP, Surf has 15, so.
Yeah, but it's also the fact that you get Fire Blast, you typically get a lot sooner too, though. So, despite the fact that it is a higher risk, it is also something you do get a lot sooner than
Yeah,
Surf.
could be. Yeah, so, and then, you know, with any Pokemon game, there's always, so like, there's obviously the most optimal, most fast Pokemon to take, but like, no one is telling you that you have to do that. Make your own route. Run whatever Pokemon you want. That's what's great about Sword and Shield as well, is that you can do whatever alt Pokemon you want for runs, because you can just trade in anything you want. It's great. So just do whatever you want. Make whatever makes you happy. Run what you want.
Yeah, that was the one thing I feel like that was probably the one thing I kind of didn't like, was the fact that you could pretty much just take any Pokemon and just solo the entire game with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know you can do that with, like, someone's gonna comment about, well, you can do that in any gen. I mean, yeah, but not with, like, I'm talking about with, like, pretty much almost very little effort.
Yeah.
Like,
especially you have like Pokemon Home and stuff like that.
Yeah. But with like games like, you know, the earlier gens, if you try to attempt to do something like that, it would be a lot more of a challenge. And that's kind of the most interesting things about doing solo Pokemon runs, is taking certain Pokemon and being like, okay, how can I make this efficient, you know?
Exactly. We almost had a perfect 3 Slowpokes, but this last one decided to troll us significantly. So, it used Yawn on us, which put us to sleep, again, 2 turns from then. It also, but what was more annoying was that after it used Yawn, it used Disable, which then disabled my Flamethrower, which is the move I had already selected to use next. So it disabled it, which extended it by turn. Then I fell asleep. Then it used Confusion, put me into a state that I probably would have died. And then, so I had to heal that off of course. And then, you know, then we got to finally finish it with Fire Blast, which again is not 100% accurate, so I could have missed. So we almost had a perfect 3 Slowpokes. We were this close. Had it not used Disable, we would have been perfect. We would have been golden.
Got the Slowpoke lock.
But we are now done with the first challenge. Again, what we had to do is we defeated these 3 Slowpokes, which had each taken a piece of the dojo outfit that Clara was so upset that she didn't get. And spoiler alert, we got them all back, and she is never going to put on that dojo uniform. So she was upset for nothing, because she's not even going to wear it. But I can't really blame her. She's got great style, you know? So, you know, the outfit she has on already is already very good.
I mean, to be fair, like, why wouldn't you want to put it on? I mean, like, look how awesome that uniform looks.
Mm-hmm.
That dojo uniform looks awesome.
My favorite part's the knee pads.
Yeah, those are pretty good too. Safety first.
Exactly. So that's challenge 1 done. Challenge 2 is going to revolve around us getting some max mushrooms from a cave. Close. I forgot about this. Close the bid war. I forgot. Close the bid war, and who do we have?
Well, unfortunately, we didn't get any snipes at the last minute.
No, last minute snipes. So we're going Bulbasaur.
We're going Bulbasaur.
All right.
Thank you guys all so much for the donations.
Yeah, wow, thank you so much. Such wonderful contributions to this run. Like I said, I think with that last $20 donation that sniped Bulbasaur at the beginning of the run, that put us over the $600 mark for this run alone in terms of what you donated towards incentives. So thank you so much for doing so. We got our good Bulbasaur here. And actually, it is ever the tiniest bit faster to pick Bulbasaur versus Squirtle. Just the tiniest, just a little bit tiniest. And that is just for 1 Death Warp that we're going to do with using Bulbasaur. Otherwise, it doesn't matter at all, which is why I always include it as an incentive. And even so, it might not really matter. it just has a chance of being like the tiniest bit faster.
Despite the fact that that bid war is indeed closed now, that doesn't mean we still don't have other incentives that you can donate towards. You can still donate towards the both of the Ghost of Tsushima's incentives for killing or sparing Lord Shimura. I swear to God, I must be mispronouncing every name in here. I swear. But yeah, kill at $0 and spare at $20. We also have $20 for Nobu for naming the horse. So you get one of 4 options here. You get Nobu, Sora, Kage, or Kaze. And you can easily donate, $21 if you like one of the other 3 names, or if you also would like to see the see in Ghost of Tsushima, you'd like to see Lord Shimura, like I said, fall at the feet he stands on. You should go ahead and get those donations in. Use exclamation point donate, exclamation point incentives to check out the last two incentives we have.
Yep, definitely get those donations in. What a great cause. Save the dogs. So we are on our way into our second challenge. And actually, you know what? I forgot to do one key part of that menu, which was equip a P.E.K.K.A. berry. It's not important for this coming fight, but it's important for later, but I just didn't want to forget it. So we're heading to our second of the 3 challenges, which is to go find those mushrooms to make a max soup that the dojo is going to enjoy. On our way, we're going to take the smallest detour here to grab this item, which is a hyper potion. It's just very handy for getting some heals on that we'll probably have to use later. And we're just going to take the most optimal route here to get over towards that cave. And then as soon as we attempt to take the mushrooms, Clara's going to say, no, let me take the mushrooms, and we have to fight. And then we'll have our second of 3 Clara fights. The second Clara fight is by far the easiest. It's actually pretty much ultimately safe. It's basically free. Not really anything that can go wrong, which is, it sounds like I'm cursing myself, but trust me, it's fine. In before we have a cutaway where I'm just dying to Clara 2 like 3 times. It's never happened before. But we're also going to grab that Moo Moo Milk. Another healing item that we'll probably have to use later on in the run. And then we're going to enter the cave.
This is a bit unrelated to the speedrun itself, but so when you played this casually, what was your team? Like what did you use?
Yeah, in this game, so my team, I went Grookey starter. So I started with Grookey. Then I also have a Boltund. Not Croc. What is it? I always forget the name. The new turtle Pokemon that was added to this generation.
Chulip?
Yeah, but the evolved version of Chudel. Dreadnought, thank you. I knew it has something. There's a Gnaw in there somewhere. Dreadnaught's in there. Dragapult is in there. Arcanine, I had somebody trade me over a Growlithe from their shield, because Arcanine is my favorite Pokemon by far. And then Surfetched as well. That's my 6-player party.
Well, if I could find my copy of the game, I could tell you what was my exact thing, but I could tell you right now I started with the what was the fire type starter? Oh, it's Score
Bunny, yeah.
Yeah, I started with Score Bunny because I am a fire starter for life.
Taken out of context, that's terrible, by the way.
It is.
You heard it here first, Slow, a fire starter for life.
Life. Yep.
Arson's a weird flex, but okay.
We have breaking news: Florida man arrested for being arsonist.
Being fire starter for life. Only prime content here on No Holidays Allowed.
But I think after that I had what was that dark fox type Pokemon?
Fox type?
No, fox type.
Oh, fox type. Oh, Nickit. So what's the evolved version? I forget what the evolved version's called. Nick gets the early one.
Yep. And then I had Dreadnought like you did. And then Arcanine, which I used for most of the game because he's just so strong.
Yep.
And then Thievul, that's it.
Thievul, that sounds right. Yep. Just worth mentioning here as well, so now that we've got the max mushrooms, we would just need to go back to the dojo, but we are going to Death Warp off of this Sandshrew, which is exactly why I stalled to have lower health. So hopefully that this Sandshrew will take us out fast. Rapid Spin is not the move I'd like to see because it's going to take a couple. If I'd used Bulldoze or Roll Out, we would have died in one shot, of course. But, oh, great, and it missed Roll Out. So we get a 3-turn at least Death Warp here, which is slow, unfortunately, but here we are.
There was I forget which one it was, but it was a fairy. I remember it was a fairy psychic type. It was one that you had to trade it with a scarf to evolve it.
I know what you're talking about, but I couldn't tell you the name. It's completely gone.
Yeah, like I couldn't trade it because I didn't have a what's called the Nintendo Club membership, whatever. So I couldn't trade it and have someone trade it back to me anyway. So it pretty much stayed unevolved to the entire. I mean, it was still a powerhouse through the dragon gem though.
Yeah,
an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That one was really tough though because it wasn't just dealing with dragon, because a lot of them were like ground dragons and stuff like that. Like dragon ground, and then you had just ones that were just pure ground, and because they always had because there was a whole double battle thing was just like really tough for me. Like, I mean, that was probably my toughest fight in this entire game was doing that fight, and even then I didn't really have that much trouble. Like I had a little bit. I did die on the. Like the in-game fights, I died pretty much at least once outside of the super boss or whatever the final boss.
Yeah, Leon.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about Chairman Rose? Yeah.
No, not Chairman Rose either. No, the actual big boss Pokemon where
Eternatus. Yeah.
Core and Zekrom come in.
Yeah, Eternatus. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have trouble with that fight, thankfully. But pretty much all the in-game fights, most of them I didn't have that big of trouble, but there were a couple like the Dragon Pet Gem. Then there's also Leon. Those are like the two I think I had the biggest trouble with.
Right. Yeah, they're tough. They're tough. By the way, we are getting ready to go to our third challenge of the 3, which is just a last fight with Clara. And this is by far the scariest fight in the whole run. And it's only scary for one reason. So it's not particularly scary on the surface. The only reason why it's scary is that the last Pokemon that Claire uses is a Slowbro. And the Slowbro has an ability called Quick Draw, which means that it's usually slower than everything. But there is, I don't know I want to say it's like 40% or maybe even less of a percentage that if the Quick Draw ability will activate and it will get to go first. If it goes first, it severely complicates things and will probably kill me. It's highly likely that I'll die. So this is exactly the reason why we save for this fight. If we don't get Quick Draw, then we win. But if we get Quick Draw, we have a small chance to still succeed, but it'll be slow. We have a much higher chance that we'll probably just die. So we save here. Otherwise, the fight is completely safe. We do a lot of setup on her first Pokemon, which is Skorupi. And the reason why we equipped that P.E.K.K.A. Berry before we finish the second challenge is because she tries to cheat and she throws toxic spikes on the field at the start of the the fight. So we would be meant to start the fight poisoned, but because we have a P.E.K.K.A. Berry equipped, we'll heal that off immediately.
Easy.
Yeah, easy peasy. So we do set up on her Skorupi for quite a while. It's also worth mentioning, so we picked up the mushrooms, which actually does give an item called Max Mushrooms, which are very, very good, and we're about to use them for the first time here. So what Max Mushrooms do is they raise every stat with one item. which is really, really good. We're going to use them 2 times throughout this run. This is the first time. But first move that we're going to do is Safeguard, actually, so that we can avoid getting poisoned again for the remainder of this setup here. Because they just love to spam Poison Fang, and of course we got a critical hit on the first hit, which makes things rather scary. That's because we have not buffed our defense at all yet. So getting a critical hit on the first hit is a little bit concerning. Nasty plot once and be fine here. We're gonna have to heal now, which is fine. This is actually according to script, but we just had significantly lower health than I was comfortable with here. We would have to heal here anyway, it's fine. But had the rolls been low enough, we had a potential of not having to heal here, which is... And then now we can flamethrower it. So we have been significantly buffed in terms of the special attack department. Not only have we used Nasty Plot twice, but we also used a Max Mushroom. So we're +3 on special attack, which is what we needed to be. After this groupie goes, we have a Weezing, Galarian Weezing, which we are going to Dynamax for. One of my favorite parts of this fight, actually. So we're going to Dynamax. Use Max Flare. We have this big epic animation, right? We're Dynamaxing. We're gonna throw this giant Pokeball. Our Ninetales is gonna be huge. It's gonna roar. It's gonna shake. You know, it's gonna vibrate the controller. It's gonna, you know, do all kinds of crazy stuff, right? All kinds of exciting stuff. Here we go. So amped, so hyped up. Here's the fight. Think. Let's fight. Little anticlimactic, and that is purely just because we've turned off battle animations, obviously, because it's slower to have them in the game. But, you know, it hypes it all around just for us to go think for these next 2 Pokemon. Now, here's the Slowbro. Best of luck, best of RNG in the chat. Please, no quick draw. Please, no quick draw. Come on. For the fans, for the people, for the dogs, no quick draw, please. Oh. We got a quick draw.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
We got a quick draw. So the reason why this affects things. So she's gonna throw out her Slowbro. She's gonna Dynamax. Slowbro now gets to go first. It's gonna get off a Max Geyser ahead of us, which is fine. We'll survive it. You know, you might be concerned because it's water versus fire, but we buffed up ourselves enough that we'll survive it. That's not where we're gonna die potentially. Here's the reason. I used Fire Blast while in Dynamax form, which created a drought on the field, which boosts the fire type moves. Because now the Slowbro got to use Max Geyser. Now it turns to rain, which not only removes the drought, it makes it so fire type moves are weak, which you might not think it would have, but we would have one-shot that Slowbro had the drought been in place. We did not get there. And now we are not only is it not, yeah, no, this is just, it got quick draw again anyway, so we would have died. We have to reset now. But not only we have D-Dynamax, which lowers our attack, we would have also had to have landed a Fire Blast in order to progress, which is not a 100% accurate move. So we probably would have died. Not only that, it has a chance to quick draw again, which is what happened. So even though I picked the wrong move there, I actually ate my input for up, so it used Nasty Plot instead of Fire Blast, which we had to have reset anyway. But I noticed right when I was clicking out that it got quick draw anyway. It wouldn't matter what we picked, we died. Because it would have just Max Geyser us again into a pulp. So unfortunately, we have to do that entire fight over again.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I was gonna say it was all around. I would say this game arguably has some of the best rivals in the series. I would say, like maybe not the best, but some of the best.
Yeah, the rivals are fun. I like Hop as a rival in terms of like casual play. It's just frustrating from a speedrun perspective. But outside of that, like Hop is very interesting, and there's development there, which is always fun. Clara is very entertaining here as well, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I like Hop a lot, mainly just the fact that I love watching him grow as a character, because there's the one guy he uses like very psychic types. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he's the one that's the chairman. The one
Oh,
that the chairman.
Rose?
No. The one that chairman endorsed. I always forget his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Give me a second. Nope, it's gone. It's been too long since I played this casually.
Fair enough.
I haven't run this game on any percent categories.
I'm sure somebody in the chat will get me. I'm sure be able to tell me. Bede, yeah.
Yep.
Bede,
There you go. Yep.
Bede? Yeah, I don't know how you supposed to pronounce it, but it doesn't matter. But he, after Hops ended up fighting him and losing to him, then you kind of start to see like Hops really grow into as a character, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
On top of that, I really liked that Bede was that rival that people have been craving, having that excuse my language here, but kind of a dickhead rival.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of itches that scratch for a lot of people. I feel like, at least to that extent, because in a way he is also a rival for you.
Yes.
Same thing you could even say with Marlene.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's who it was. What her name was, or something. I know it was started with a P. Like the one that was like her brother's like the leader of Team Yell, or
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But like she for once had like the best track in the OST in my opinion.
Yeah.
But she was a very good rival character too. Obviously, again, Hop was amazing. I really enjoyed the Hop. So all around, I'd say this game had some of the best, if not the best, rivals. The story could have had some work done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. We passed this one. No quick draw this time.
Easy.
I'll take a second here. Shout out to Midwest Speedfest and their crew, only because my first ever marathon run of this run was for Midfall Speedball in November, and I lost this fight I think 4 or 5 times. Again, it's not super likely that we get quick draw. It's not like it's like 80% to happen or something like that, and we just have to reset until we get it. It's relatively unlikely, but I lost this fight 4 times. Every time you lose this fight, it loses like 4 minutes. But I actually had to mercy kill that run because I lost so much. Yeah, and it's not like it's super likely, like I said, you know, and when it happens correctly, look, 1 shot, 1 kill, it's over. Easy peasy.
Easy. Yeah, it's always easy, you know?
Yep.
I will say I do like when you defeat the Dynamax, just like there's this huge explosion and they just start shrinking down. It's just really cool. Like Dynamax in general is really cool.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the coolest evolution.
Yeah, I think I like Megas a little bit better, but I don't mind Dynamaxing. Yeah. All right, so now we got past the scary fight, and we have completed the challenges. Now we get to see the secret armor of the island, which is the Kubfu. So I mentioned at the very, very top of the run that we're doing the Get Urshifu category. There's actually, which is kind of the good ending, more or less. There's also a bad ending version of this run that we'll get a Kubfu after this, and then we will just release it. And then we go and talk to Mustard. And he's like, oh, you released Kubfu. Well, all right, that's kind of terrible, but I guess you can fight the tower with whatever Pokemon you want now. Which is just kind of sad, especially because Kubfu is pretty cute. So,
that is sad.
Yeah, so that version is a little bit faster, obviously, but that's not the version we're running. We're running Get Urshifu. So we're going to get our Kubfu here. We're going to train it up Rocky style. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to walk in front of Mustard here. We're going to go into our Switch settings. Change our date again.
Yeah. So, well, since we would get copyrighted if we played the actual song, I'll just sing it for you. It's the eye of the tiger is still in the black eyes.
Exactly.
I'll stop before.
That's enough. We don't need to get deemed yet.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so we're gonna get Kubfu here. So I did a few things here. I changed the date to October 15th, and then I saved. The reason why we changed the date to October 15th is that we're going to grind on Blissey's right out front of the dojo here to level up Kubfu, because Kubfu has super effective move types against Blissey, so it goes down rather quickly. Not to mention that Blissey's are big, fat sacks of experience points. we can level up really quickly. The downside is that they're a 5% encounter in front of us on any given spot. So they could take a little time to spawn, which is a little unfortunate. The reason why we save here is because we have to have certain stats decent enough to run with this Kubfu. It's relatively low bar because we're gonna level up a little extra than necessary just for safety. But our speed has to be good. Mainly is the one that I'm focused on. If our speed is bad, we can't run with this Kubfu no matter how much we level it up, because we all just have to level it up way beyond what is necessary. But if our speed is good enough, then we'll be fine. We check. No, we actually have to reset.
Oh no.
Yeah,
But
right.
like how could you ever, release a Kubfu like that into the wild? It's just too cute.
Yeah, Kubfu is great. I like Kubfu. I like Urshifu, both versions. If you're unfamiliar, so what we do now, in terms of story, we train up Kubfu, then we choose to fight in one of two towers, and based on what tower you fight, you can evolve Kubfu into Urshifu at the end, and it'll have different look and typings depending on which tower you pick. Unfortunately, because of how we run this category, we only have one option for the tower, which is the Dark Tower. That being because the other version is the Water Tower. And the water tower is surrounded by water, which means we can't even get to it because we don't have the bike that lets us travel across water. So we can't even get to it. But it's fine anyway, though, because Dark Tower is faster than Water Tower anyway, in terms of what it would be to fight in them. So it's not a big deal, but we don't have a choice, unfortunately, if we want to finish this run quickly. So we're gonna choose Dark Tower. But both versions are very cool.
Yeah, I will say that I'm not like the biggest fan of the whole thing where you get like the flying taxi and like you get the water. Like I don't know. I felt like that was a part of Pokemon that just kind of just got dumbed down for the sake of the fact that for conveniency.
Yeah.
I feel like this game has more ups than it does downs, but it does have quite a few downs.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. So we have a Kubfu, and it has the base low level of speed that we need. So I'm nervous. At the base low level of speed here, it's heavily likely that it's fine, but there is a chance that we're not going to be faster than the Kubfu at the end based on our level up sequence here. So I'm a little bit nervous, be honest, but we're going to figure this out. So we might end up leveling up even slightly more beyond than what I said originally, which was already beyond. So we'll see what kind of time we have left. Unfortunately, we've had really bad luck on this island so far, so we're going to be pushing estimate a little bit. I don't think we're going to go over at the moment, but as it stands, we might be getting a little bit close. So we'll have to wait and see. Especially if no Blissies want to pop up in this grass. Let's go, Blissey.
Just get a Blissey, forehead.
Yeah, it's easy.
Easy
First try every time.
I mean, a Jigglypuff is basically a Blissey, right?
I wish in terms of experience, because Jigglypuff pop up like crazy here.
I saw that, yeah.
Come on, Blissey. Like I said, it's 5% on any given spot, so they're a little bit hard to come by occasionally.
Yeah.
But we got one. Now the first one, so they range between levels 10 and 15 out front. For the first one, you don't want it to. Hopefully, it's not a large one, because level 13 and beyond, Blissey will know a move called Life Dew, which allows it to heal itself. And because we're a little bit low level at the beginning, it could just take a couple extra turns in order to defeat that Blissey, which is a bit slow. Luckily, we got the first one, which is its lowest level, which makes it so that the fight goes pretty much as fast as it can. As you can see, with just one Blissey, we leveled up 3 levels, which is pretty impressive. So you can imagine, if we get a few more, how much faster this. So hopefully we get some good spawns. Last marathon run I did this, I got pretty good dual Blissey spawns, and of course, we started off this run real strong, like really favorable RNG, and then it just kind of went downhill, unfortunately. But that's literally Pokemon speedrunning. Like, you can't get mad at it. You can't get too tilted. That's RNG is the name of the game when you choose to run a Pokemon game. You have to live with it and accept it. There's one. Don't. No. Oh, wait, no, we're fine. This is actually, so that's another wild encounter, unfortunately. But in terms of speed, it's unfortunate. But in terms of donations, it's great. I believe we're up to $40 now for wild encounters. Of course, it's not letting me run away from this bunny area, but it actually slows down the Blissey in front of us, which I was worried if it had gotten to the wall, it would have disappeared. So I was worried that we weren't going to catch it. But because we hit an encounter, it actually saved it so that we definitely were going to catch the Blissey at the expense of losing a little time. But it made it safe, so can't fault it too much.
Okay. So I guess another good question for that's Pokemon related here.
Sure.
What Pokemon do you think you would be?
Do I think I would be? Ooh, good question. I've never been asked that before. What do I think I would be? No, it's gonna hit the wall. It's gonna hit the wall. Oh, yes, I got it. Okay. Thinking. This is hard. I've never been asked that. If you have an answer, you go first because I need to think about this.
Yeah, I was gonna say personally, I think I'd either be a slacking, or a Slowbro.
You think highly of yourself, do you?
Yes. Yeah, I'll be the first one to admit that that's probably what I would be. One of those two. But what about you, chat? Well,
yeah, sound off with what you think. I was originally thinking like Slow King a little bit, which is kind of in the same vein. So like I got a little bit of that's gonna disappear. Yeah, I got a little bit of the slowness gene in me too. But there's also Slow King is almost like a sentient being, especially if you watch like Pokemon 2000 or something like that. So there's a little bit of interest there. Part of me wants to, even though it's already my favorite Pokemon and it's a bit of a cop-out, part of me wants to say Arcanine because I really like dogs. I really like dog Pokemon. And I feel like out of all of them, that might be the one I would be. I'll go with one of those two answers. Slowbro, a Slow King, or Arcanine.
Fair enough. And like I said, I'll pass the question to the chat, see what you guys have. What Pokemon do you think you guys would be?
We are getting just terrible luck. Like, I know I said, so it's 5%, I said that, but it's 5% on any given spot. So there's tons of spots. So even though 5% sounds like it's very infrequent, it's not that bad, more or less. But we are just getting absolutely trolled in the later parts of this run, which is just unfortunate. Hopefully we get some luck here to turn around and get some more Blissies. Come on. Ralts is another good one. I almost said like Ralts or that line. I like Ralts a lot. Ralts, Curly, Gardevoir. Good thing here is we got a double spawn of Blissey, and that after I defeat this Blissey, that other Blissey is still going to be here. So we are going to get 2 in a row here, which is good. So I am happy about that, and I am going to take both. There is a chance that I wouldn't have to take both, but I am going to take both regardless. I think.
I was gonna originally say Snorlax, but then I thought about it more. I was like, no, I'd be more closer to a slacking that where I'll do something and then just be lazy afterwards.
Right.
So, whereas like Snorlax is just he just outright just chills out. He's just chilling.
Yeah. I would say I aspire to be a Snorlax to be able to get to that level, but I don't think I'm there, unfortunately. All right, let's see. Let me see what level we're at here. I'm actually gonna try and take one more Blissey. I normally wouldn't, because this is leveled up plenty. Oh wow, nice. This is leveled up plenty, but I'm a little bit concerned with my speed stat. Like I said, it's base level. It's at the absolute lowest that I could take. But I really did not want to reset again, because we're already a little bit behind. So I'm gonna take the extra Blissey here and hope that the extra level up secures that we'll be faster than the last Pokemon we have to fight. And you know what? Since I have to walk this way, wow, look at all of them coming out of the woodworks now. Can you believe this? I was gonna say, I'll take this last build save since I have to walk this way anyway, just to be absolutely so safe. And then another one pops up in the distance. Like, I was walking around there for like 2 minutes without finding a Blissey, it felt like. And now they're just popping up out everywhere.
Well, yeah, that's how that works, right?
Absolutely rude. Just absolutely rude. I'm not gonna fight that one. We're fine now.
But so, what's your favorite? What would you say is your favorite legendary Pokemon?
Ooh, great question. Really like Articuno. I really like Entei.
It's really cool. He's probably my second favorite.
Those would probably be. And then, I mean, like Mewtwo seems like an obvious choice, but Mewtwo, like the concept of Mewtwo has always been really cool to me. Like the whole genetically modified Pokemon thing and Mewtwo, Mew. So I really like the legendaries in the first 2 gens specifically, probably the most, I would say.
My personally, I always got to go with the classic Zapdos.
Zapdos is great.
I don't know if I like the Galarian version, but I mean it looks cool. But I've always just been a big fan of Gen 1 Zapdos, so I have to say Gen 1 Zapdos just better.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that. I actually do. I like the Galarian versions that they did in terms of the aesthetic. The style is really cool. I think they all look really great. And then if you get shiny versions of them, it's just they get their like original color scheme back, which is really cool, as well. So, but by the way, what we're doing here in terms of the story, now that Kubfu is leveled up enough for me to be able to progress, what we have to do is make sure that our Kubfu has a high enough friendship level, because that we will not get access to the tower unless Mustard approves of Kubfu and our, getting along well. So what we do here is we walk to all across the map to 3 specific spots, and then we just kind of like stare out over the horizon and bond, which increases our friendship level by a lot. So the only thing that will make it so that your friendship is lowered is if Kubfu faints. So we have to do 1 Death Warp. Now, usually I do the Death Warp with Kubfu regardless, and just hope that the friendship level is high enough that the tanking of friendship from the fainting will be fine. But the other alternative, which guarantees that it's fine, is that you deposit Kubfu right before the Death Warp, and then you Death Warp off using something else. Once the Death Warp is complete, you take Kubfu back out of the box, which is what we're going to do. And that is exactly why Bulbasaur is the ever so slightly faster choice, because we're going to Death Warp off of Rhyperior, which has like ground and rock type moves. Obviously, being grass, there's a type advantage there. If we were water, it doesn't really matter, because we're at level 5 and that Rhyperior is like level 50, I think. So it's not like it particularly matters. But at this stage, it doesn't really matter at all. But there is that Sandshrew Death Warp. If we were, if our Ninetales had too much health, we could have chosen to use Bulbasaur over Squirtle against the Sandshrew that we did, which would have mattered potentially, depending on the moves that the Sandshrew used. So that is why that's why there's a little bit of a difference there. But yep, that was our second lookout point. The third lookout point is always laughable to me. So like the idea is that you're looking out over this, beautiful landscape or horizon and bonding with your Kubfu, that you're sharing this moment together. And the third landscape isn't so beautiful, mainly based off of the date that we have the Switch set to right now, which is, like I said, October 15th, which is like foggy and kind of spooky looking. Kind of overcast, gray and rainy, so it's not like it's a beautiful landscape. But even so, like even if it was bright, sunny, and things like that, I don't think this landscape would be beautiful, and you'll see what I mean here in just 1 second. Here's the third and final landscape, and then you be the judge. You think you can bond over this view? Here it is.
Yeah, so like it's called one.
Beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful, a foggy, sandy landscape. I don't know. I don't think I could. I don't think it does it for me.
I mean, yeah, I do agree that having it kind of foggy does kind of ruin the aesthetic of it. But there's something about just looking at you know, the nature, just you know, nature in general, even if it is sandy like this, you know, it can be also in a way a lot of there's a lot of beauty there too in a way, you
Yeah,
know.
I can see that.
But so I guess I got one more Pokemon related question here for you.
Sure.
Favorite starter?
Charmander is my favorite stuff.
Mine's actually my favorite's Torchic, but I'm also because I'm also biased because I started in Gen 3.
Sure, fair enough. So we did quite a few things here. Let me just finish this menu and I'll kind of explain what happened. Cool. So beyond the grabbing that third you know, viewpoint, which we need to make sure that our Cubfu's friendship level is good, we grabbed a few items here. First item we grabbed is the Rocky Helmet, which what Rocky Helmet does is once equipped to a Pokemon, if it's attacked with a physical type move, then it will, the Pokemon that attacked you will get damage dealt to them as well. So that will be important for our last fight. The other thing we grabbed was a TR for Reversal. And Reversal is the key point to the strategy that we're going to use in the Dark Tower here. So, on here, grab our Cubfu out again. Right? And then, yep, we have Gonna Friendship. So, so the moves that our Cubfu now knows are Rock Smash, Clear, Endure, and Reversal. And it's those last two moves that are a key point to the strategy. Endure, when used, if you are meant to faint on the next turn, it will make it so that your Cubfu will survive with 1 HP. Reversal is a fighting type move that deals more damage based on how low your health is. So we will often combine these two things to make it so that Cubfu's health is 1 HP, and then we will use Reversal to do maximum damage on the next turn. So that's going to be the key part to accomplishing this tower, basically. And oh boy, we are going to be pushing Estimate here. We're going to be like right on the cusp, hopefully. Right on the cusp. We just got absolutely unfortunate. But okay. So Bouffalon is no. Okay, good. So Bouffalon is really annoying because if it gets close to you, it's just going to charge you and it runs faster than you. That's why I panicked for a second. Luckily, it didn't start charging. Anyways, we're heading over to the Dark Tower now, and that's the main part of the strategy. First few Pokemon, it doesn't really matter because we're just going to be stronger, so it's actually slower to wait for your health to drain to the point that you would be KO'd and then use Endure. It's actually a little bit slower to do that. But starting on the third trainer in the tower is when we're going to be utilizing that Endure and Reversal strategy. So yeah, we're heading over to the Dark Tower, which is basically we basically walked up to its doors when we were getting our second friendship viewpoint. We were basically right there. I am gonna grab one item here just for safety before we head up there, and that is a Carbos, which Carbos is an item that will increase your base speed. Like I said, I'm a little concerned with their speed stat right now, so hopefully it's fine. And I'm not gonna. I'm probably. Well, actually, no, I'll probably end up using it since we'll have to do a menu anyway when we're in the tower. I'll go ahead and grab it. But here's, Carbos is over here. Ever so slightly out of the way, but not by a lot. Go. Then we're going to head into the tower. Tower has 5 trainers on 5 different floors. Luckily, they're all 1 Pokemon each, so the fights themselves go relatively quickly. And then after that, all we have to do is evolve Urshifu at the little slip there. So. This is the Dark Tower, by the way. Like I said, there are 2 towers, Water and Dark, but we can't even get to the Water Tower right now. Not much less we actually wouldn't want to because it's ever so slightly slower. It is closer to walk to, unfortunately. I think. Oops. Accidentally pressed B there. Get to talk to her again, which is good. Obviously. Here we are in the tower. Yeah, I think we might be like 1 minute over estimate here. I think. Which is unfortunate because the estimate is relatively padded. My estimate is an hour 45. My PB is an hour 31. So that just goes to show you what kind of RNG we dealt with, basically. Just absolutely terrible. I did waste a little bit of time in terms of, you know, making sure we're a bit over leveled, just to overcompensate for the speed. But yeah, we got unfortunate luck. Though we are over level, so that Zoro is usually a 2-shot, but because we're super high level right now, it was a 1-shot, so that's a little time saved there. Yeah, but I think we'll be 1 minute or a few seconds over estimate at this stage, probably.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance. There's always a chance. So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Maybe if we just get really favorable RNG or something.
Are the rest of the fights really 6 minutes long?
It's mainly the fact that the run ends on fade out, so we have a little bit of a cutscene at the end of the run. That's mainly it, but the fights themselves are relatively.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it's like you're just not hitting 140. And there's only like, I think
there's 3 trainers left. Yeah.
There's only like a 10 to 20 second delay. So
yeah. Yeah, on my screen I just defeated the 2nd trainer. I'm on to the 3rd. So they go they do go relatively quick, but you see what my health's at. Actually, I'm gonna try this. So usually we do the endure and reversal strategy on Inkay here. But our health was so high that I chose not to. Which actually will save us a little bit of time. The fight is roughly the same amount of turns, but it will save us a tiny fraction of time because usually we have to use a potion, and then I'll usually use an orange berry here for safety for this next trainer. But because our health is actually much higher than normal, I'm actually just going to use the orange berry. That should be perfectly safe. I am going to save just in case, but it should be fine. So we are definitely going to use the endure reversal strategy on this trainer. Well, actually not even endure, just reversal. And hopefully we get the quick cycle here. So the Krokorok likes to use protect, and often will use protect first. But if it uses assurance or Sam2 first, that's the fast cycle. Hey, so we did get the fast cycle. There you go. All right. So yeah, we are getting a little bit of luck here, just ever so slightly. And then so that's 4 trainers down. All we have left is the final trainer in the run, which is Mustard. This is the fight that's ever so slightly scary because of our speed. I am going to do some menuing before the fight starts. We're going to heal to full. We're going to use that Carbos. And we're going to equip that Rocky helmet that I have grabbed earlier. And then save, just in case. Here we are. So Mustard only has 1 Pokemon as well, so we don't have to deal with that Mean Foo and that Shinx again. The Pokemon that Mustard has is Cubfu. So it's a Cubfu v Cubfu. Get your Spider-Man memes ready. But the main thing that is key to this strategy is that we outspeed Mustard's Cubfu. And that is because we're going to use a couple different things here. So first thing...
You or me.
Yeah, you're me, exactly. The first thing we're going to do is use Max Mushrooms, which, if you remember from before, is an item that raises all of our stats. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Then Cubfu is going to do a good chunk of damage to us because it's super effective against us. Well, then we're going to use Endure so we can survive a second hit. and then we're going to use reversal, and that's why our speed is important, because if we were slower than that cub food, then we're just going to die. Not good, obviously. And that's also why we use the Rocky Helmet, to ensure that we have done enough damage to the cub food for that reversal to work. And we are faster, so we all of the safety paid off. That was the concern there. Very good. All right, so that is in everything that in terms of speed tech that goes to the fight. And since we're running close to estimate here, I'll go ahead and do all of my shout outs and things now. So shout outs to this excellent marathon, the No Glitches Allowed crew, the No Holidays Allowed marathon specifically, all of the staff and volunteers that I get to work with in this marathon. You're all great people. Thank you so much for being who you are. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to everyone who's donated so far towards Go Rescue. Such a wonderful cause. And I got the privilege to help interview Georgia for our No Glitches Allowed 6 event. She's a wonderful person. So it's really great to be able to put a face to the charity as well. In addition to that, if you like Pokemon speedruns or any speedruns of a little bit of odd speedruns that I like to do, feel free to follow me on Twitch. I actually have a follower goal going on right now, trying to hit 500 followers before the end of the year, and I only need 11. So if you're able, please feel free to give me a follow. I only need 11 more followers to make that goal before the end of the year. So hopefully you can do that. I would really appreciate it. I speedrun this game. Like I said, I speedrun Gen 1 Pokemon. I've been speedrunning Bug Snacks lately, so if you're into that, come on by. And then, yeah, continue watching the rest of No Holidays Allowed. Continue supporting us. Continue supporting Go Rescue. It's much appreciated. All right, and then time is going to be coming up here right after we start to fade out. So yeah, like I said, about one a minute and change over, probably.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
But we do have our Urshifu. We met the requirements for the run. Slowly but surely, we got there. Shoutouts to Clara for ruining it. Shoutouts to Blissies for ruining it. Shoutouts to Vulpix and Cub Foos.
Shoutouts to Slower ruining it.
And time.
I put in time on there for way too early, but that's fine.
That's fine. Thank you so much for having me. I won't keep you guys any longer. Enjoy the rest of the marathon, and please donate.
Please donate. We're roughly $153 away from our goal. If we make this goal, we will raise over